What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Boston Celtics, and we're going to be talking about how this team went from struggling to being a title contending team, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, the Boston Celtics got off to a very rough start this season, and I would say from the month of October all the way up until late December, we've seen the Boston Celtics underperform. And I use the word underperform because prior to this season, I feel like the Boston Celtics had enough talent to compete for a championship and be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, but we just didn't see that. We seen them come out slow-footed, and they struggled a little bit earlier on. From that time span, the Boston Celtics, they were hovering over that 500 range, and then there was a point in time where the Celtics weren't even a play-in tournament. But from the date of December 21st up until where we are right now, it's like a flip has switched for the Boston Celtics, and they've been one of the best teams in the NBA. They've won 20 out of their last 24. They've won 18 out of their last 21, and they've just been playing some great basketball. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what factors contributed to their epic turnaround. And I feel like the first one, which is the most important one, is that Coach Udoka showed us that he can coach. I would say there was a lot of pressure on him going into this season. He's a rookie head coach, and then it's for the Boston Celtics, one of the most prestige franchises, not just in the NBA, but in all of sports. And I feel like Coach Udoka, he showed us earlier in this season that he can coach on the court and off the court. With the off the court, with the locker room issues, when the chemistry issues got out to the media, that can be really tough on the team when after every game that's all you've been asked. But Coach Udoka, he found a way to bring his team back together and play some great basketball on the court. And then when it comes to on the court coaching, Udoka has done a great job with the Celtics as far as making adjustments. On the offensive side of the ball, we've seen a lot more ISO heavy offense with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and now we see a more motion offense. We see more ball movement. We see the ball moving around a lot more. And then on the defensive side of the ball, he probably has the best defensive schemes in the NBA. The Boston Celtics rank almost number one in every defensive category, and whichever category they're not first in, they rank second. So Coach Udoka, he's done a great job this season. We've seen him answer the call to adversity, and then we've seen him make the right adjustments for on the court basketball. So Coach Udoka, he's been really solid for the Celtics this season, and I think another factor that has helped turn this season around for the Celtics is they found some valuable pieces on their bench. And the first guy that their new sixth man since the trade deadline is Derek White, and he's been very, very valuable to the Boston Celtics since he's arrived. And one of the biggest knocks on Derek White is his three-point shooting. And since he came to the Celtics, he is in his worst shooting slump, but he's been giving them so much more. So much more as far as when it comes to playmaking for others. That's something that second unit really needed. They needed somebody to come in and ignite that offense and gets other guys involved. And Derek White is a great playmaker. He's also a guy that can get to the rim and finish with both hands. He gets to the free throw line a lot, and he knocks down his free throws. And then also he plays defense. He plays on both sides of the ball, and he's a great on-ball defender. So he's been really good for the Celtics, and he really gets the offense ignited for that second unit for the Boston Celtics. And then also another important guy coming off their bench is Grant Williams. And Grant Williams, he's having a very quiet, underrated season. He's one of the best three-point shooters in all of the NBA. He's shooting at 44% now. I think that's good for fourth in the league. And then also in the fourth quarter, he's one of the clutchest players in the NBA. He's shooting like 50% from the field, 50% from three, and then he's shooting like 95% plus from the free throw line. So Grant Williams and Derek White, they're the 6 and 7 man for the Boston Celtics, and that's something that was questioned a lot with the Celtics, is if they had the enough depth to sit out, to give their starters a reasonable rest during the playoffs. And I think they have that with Derek White and Grant Williams. I think those guys have been playing some really solid basketball. And then also bringing back Al Horford, he looks better, right? He looks better this season than what he looked in 2016 when he played with the Boston Celtics. He's looking really good right now, and he's really revived his career. A lot of people thought Al Horford, they didn't know if he was going to still have it or not because he went to OKC and he was dealing with the knee issues. A lot of people thought Al Horford was going to hang it up, but he's come to the Boston Celtics and he's given them a little bit of everything. He gives them that veteran presence out on the court. He's a very he's a very smart player who knows how to put himself in the right place at the right time. And then also on the offensive side of the ball, he's giving them a post presence. He's giving them the pick and pop. He's giving them the pick and pop element of basketball. He can step out and hit the 3 ball. He still has post moves, and then he has the second highest. He shoots the highest mid-range percentage on the Boston Celtics. So he really knocks down that mid-range shot, and he plays high-level defense because he's just a smart player. And then he's been one of the best defensive players throughout his NBA career. So Al Horford was a great pickup for the Boston Celtics, and he's been a really, really great factor for these guys. And then you look at the Boston Celtics, they have two, in my opinion, Defensive Player of the Year candidates. And the first one is the Time Lord, Robert Williams. The way he affects the game of basketball on the defensive end is really elite. And I would say he played on the defensive side of the ball. He kind of reminds me of Anthony Davis because he's so good at moving his feet when it comes to the pick and roll. A lot of the times we see him switch out onto the guard, or he's good enough to where he can guard the ball handler and he can guard the roll because he's just very mobile. He's very athletic. And when it comes to being a defensive anchor, one of the best at the league at it, a lot of people don't like to drive it in on him because he's one of the best shot blockers in the league. And then offensively, he's been really good for the Celtics this season. He's averaging over 10 points per game, and he's really solid. He's a great lob threat, great around the rim. One of the more, he's sneaky athletic. A lot of people don't know about Robert Williams' athleticism. He's one of the more athletic bigs in his league, and he's a really solid player for the Boston Celtics. And then you look at their other Defensive Player of the Year candidate, in my opinion, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is he's a very underrated defender as well, because there's been some times where he's been caught flopping, and a lot of people, you know how fans get, they don't like the flopping. But with Marcus Smart, when he plays defense, he can guard 1 through 4, and sometimes when you put him on a big, he even cause trouble on the big. But he's one of the most versatile defenders in the league. He'll guard the best perimeter player. He'll guard the post if you ask him to, and he's just a very strong, very built guy. He got that low center of gravity, so you can't really outstrength him. And then he's smart, and then he plays super, super hard. So the Boston Celtics, they have a great defense. And then also, we got to talk about Jayson Tatum, who's slowly creeping into that MVP conversation, because since the All-Star break, Jayson Tatum has probably been the best. There's been few players that's been better than Jayson Tatum. He's averaging 32 points while getting 8 rebounds, and then he's shooting 48% from the field and 40% from the 3-point range, and that's just really impressive. And the way that he's been playing since the All-Star break has been really fun to watch. He's doing it within the offense, which makes it the most impressive to me, that it's not give me the ball and get out my way. They're running the offense. He's running the plays. He's getting other guys involved, and it's not really give me the ball and get out my way into the fourth quarter. And that's what you want from your superstar. You want them to take over the game in the fourth quarter, get your points when you can, keep everybody else involved for those first 3 quarters, and then when the fourth quarter comes, that's your time to take over, and you leave your mark on this game. And we've seen that a lot from Jayson Tatum, and he's playing some really high-level basketball, and I'm really loving what I'm seeing from him. And we're seeing him emerge into a superstar, and he's so young. He got so much room to grow, and the biggest area where I've seen him grow this season is he's not taking those difficult shots. When he doesn't have it, he's either coming off the peel or he's not settling and he's getting to the rim. And Jayson Tatum is playing downhill basketball. There's no way you're gonna stop him. He make 2 or 3 layups, his jump shot he's not gonna miss. But that's what I feel like. Those things I feel like have been the biggest factors in the Boston Celtics epic turnaround. And that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.